Welcome to the Jaybefaunt channel. I am your host, James Fauntleroy. So good to see all of you here on a special Tuesday evening. The Jaybefaunt channel is available on all major podcast platforms. Go ahead, subscribe there. Also part of Revolutionary Blackout Network, so you can see me there for the JB Show on Sundays and the Sabian JB Show on Thursday evenings. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and give a like, share, and subscribe to the channel for all the deliciousness we're going to be getting into this. This is going to be good. Oh my goodness. We're going to be sifting through all the BS as far as the RNC goes this evening. So it's so good to see all of you here tonight. So with that being said, if you guys have not, you guys can also go to jaybefaunt.substack.com. This gives you email notifications whenever I go live, upload clips, or write any articles. So you guys have that ready, set, and to go there. I will also be having a comrade joining me a little bit later, but I would like to extend my invitation to comrades who may be watching to see if anybody is game to come on. Hang on. I think, hang on. Okay. So one of the comrades that's joining me will be in very soon. Okay. So now, while we're getting to that, I just want to say hello to a few people in the chat, and then we'll get right into the reacting because I think this is going to be really important. So we have ACAB coming in saying, ACAB includes ICE and Border Patrol, says, hello, everyone. Good to see you in the chat. Sean Miller coming in saying, yo, nice to have you. Zombie in the Air coming in saying, hi, all. We have Luz coming in here saying, it's okay that he's late. I have a Sisters of Mercy concert from 1985 streaming in another tab. Good to see you. Samuel coming in saying, hello, y'all. What an amazing day. We have RBN, 2 doses of JB, and Nick with Lee Jing Jing. Good to see that. That was actually a really good stream. I was listening while he was on. Chris C says, hey, everyone. This time I bought the cookies, as JB says. Yes, bring the cookies, baby. That's what it's about. Steve Wolfbrand coming in saying, hey, hello, everybody. Whatever, man. Also in the chat saying, hey, JB, fun, good to see you. Dwayne coming in saying, hi, JB. Good to see you, Dwayne. Everybody, I'm not sure if Rumble's working. Rumble glitched. I don't know why. But hopefully we will get Rumble going. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but that's just the way it goes. We're live, baby. Everybody in Rockfin that's watching, good to see all of you in here. Okay, so we're going to be going on to the RNC, the Republican National Convention. We'll also be giving some commentary, for the speeches as well. Speaker Mike Johnson just got off stage. I'm not sure if he's still on. I'm going to take a look in a second. Grunge Lizard says, love you, JB. Love you back. So good to see you in here as well. Ani Shah coming in saying, hello, everyone. Okay, so I don't want to waste too much time. Golden Monarch, good to see you. Biden equals Trump. Absolutely. Let's get into this. Why are we here? Well, you guys have saw it already. We're doing the reaction live to the Republican National Convention. This is going to be day 2. So because I don't have dialysis and I'm wide awake and ready, we're going to be going into day 2, and we're going to be looking at some of the things that are being said. We're going to try to debunk through some of the mess that they are spewing. Just like they do the Democratic Party, we're going to do the Republican Party as well. So we're going to share the screen really quick. And right now, oh gosh, Vivek! Oh no!
Revolution to secure, and the man who will revive these ideals in the United States of America is your next president, the 47th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Oh, he got played, baby. He got played.
If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to reignite the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to make America great again, vote Trump. But there is one more reason I'm going to ask you to vote Trump, and it's the most important one. It's the one the media won't talk about, but it's the truth. Donald Trump is the president who will actually unite this country, not through empty words, but through action. Because you know what? Success is unifying. Excellence is unifying. That's who we are as Americans. That's who we've always been. To those of you watching this at home tonight, I'd like to deliver a message that the media doesn't want you to hear from the Republican Party. Our message to Black Americans is this. The media has tried to convince you for decades that Republicans don't care about your communities, but we do. We want for you what we want for every American. Safe neighborhoods, clean streets, good jobs, a better life for your children, and a justice system that treats everyone equally, regardless of your skin color and regardless of your political beliefs.
Mm-hmm. That's rich coming from a party that embraces corporations just like the Democrats. That's real funny.
Our
That's
message
rich.
To every legal immigrant in this country is this. You're like my parents. You deserve the opportunity to secure a better life for your children in America. But our message to illegal immigrants is also this. We will return you to your country of origin, not because you're all bad people, but because you broke the law. And the United States of America was founded on the rule of law.
To stop destabilizing their countries so that they won't have to come here as a last resort for refuge. Like,
our message to millennials, speaking as one myself, yes, it's true. Our government sold us a false bill of goods with the Iraq War and the 2008 financial crisis, loading up our national debt that falls on our generation's shoulders.
by a
Telling us that if we
Republican.
took out
Where's
college
W.
loans,
Bush?
we'd somehow get a head start on the American dream when it hasn't worked out that way. But we can't just be cynical about our country because the United States of America is still the last best hope that we have. And we deserve a better class of politician, one who actually tells us the truth, even if it comes with some mean tweets from time to time.
Y'all told us the bill is good too. What the hell are you talking about?
And our message to Gen Z is this. You're going to be the generation that actually saves this country. You want to be a rebel? You want to be a hippie? You want to stick it to the man? Show up on your college campus and try calling yourself a conservative. Say you want to get married, have kids, teach them to believe in God and pledge allegiance to their country. Because you know what? Fear has been infectious in this country, but courage can be contagious too. That too is what it means to be an American.
This is just
And you know what?
dividing the workers.
If you're at home and you disagree with everything I just said, our message to you is this. We will still defend to the death your right to say it, because that is who we are as Americans. We are the country where we can disagree like hell and still get together at the dinner table at the end of it. That is the America I know. That is the America we miss. We do not have to be ancient Rome. We don't have to be this nation in decline. We can still be a nation in our ascent, a nation whose best days, not in some fake politician way, but in a true way, a nation whose best days are actually still ahead of us, still on our way to that shining city on a hill, that country where no matter who you are, or where your parents came from, or what your skin color is, or how long your last name is, that you will still get ahead in this country with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication, and that you know what? You are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American
Not
dream.
Palestinian protesters.
That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China is going to defeat us.
China?
That is
What does
American
China have to do with this?
exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we will revive this November when we send Donald J. Trump back to the White House. Thank you all. God bless you and your families. And may God bless our United States of America. Thank you.
Oh, he's working hard. He gave that speech like rent was due.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome American icon, singer-songwriter Lee Greenwood.
Oh Lord, I don't know who the hell this is. Hi. So what the hell was that? Look, I'm gonna give you guys. Guys, I don't know. I really don't know. But I'm gonna share this with you guys. There was some actually breaking news that happened earlier today. There was a shooter near the RNC. So I'm gonna share this really quick. And let's get to that really quick. So it says Columbia police have reportedly shot a suspect outside of the RNC convention in Milwaukee. So let's get into this. So you really don't hear much.
Okay, I'm coming.
But police are definitely mobile out there in Milwaukee. So this is out in Wisconsin, where they're trying to get barricading and things like that. And what the hell is the reason for police horses? What is the reason for this antiquated form of law enforcement? I don't see a reason for it. But it's whatever. But yes, so there was a shooting suspect. And so that's basically, what happened outside of the RNC. And so, yeah. Gosh, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm so glad I am not playing that damn song from the RNC right now. You guys ever seen that video of at the DNC convention back in '96 where they're doing the Macarena and Hillary Clinton's just, that's exactly what's going on at the RNC right now. Don't believe me? I'm gonna show you. It is horrid. It is horrid. Oh, wait. Okay. I guess they finished their song. Who in the hell is this?
Good evening. 726-00019.
Are we out?
726-01019. These may be just numbers to you, but to me, they're my whole heart. These numbers are my parents' identification numbers in our federal prison system. My name is Savannah Chrisley, and you may have seen my family on TV, but for the past decade, we've been consumed with a different kind of drama. My family was persecuted by rogue prosecutors in Fulton County due to our public profile. I know, Fulton County. They know how to do it, don't they? Due to our public profile and conservative beliefs, they accused my parents of fraud when really we were defrauded by a dishonest business partner who, let's not forget, the government gave full immunity to. We suffered warrantless raids and harassment. One of the officials even had my father's face on a dartboard in his office. My parents were sentenced to a combined 19 years. I know. And let me tell you,
This is rich.
I got custody of my brother and sister, 10 and 16 at the time. And you don't know heartache until you look two children in the eyes and say, I don't know when mom and dad are coming home.
Oh, this is rich.
I'll never forget what the prosecutor said in the most heavily Democrat county in the state before an Obama-appointed judge. He called us the Trumps of the South.
Then don't break the law then.
It's fun. He meant it as an insult.
Wait. It is good enough for them to do now.
As a badge of honor.
We
live in a nation founded on freedom, liberty, and justice for all. Justice, it's supposed to be blind, but today we have a two-faced justice system. Just look at what they're doing to President Trump. All while, let's face it, Hunter Biden is roaming around free and attending classified meetings. And let's face it, look at what they're doing to countless Christians and conservatives that the government has labeled extremist or even worse. Meanwhile, the Democrats are releasing actual violent offenders who have hurt innocent people. A lawyer of mine, Brett Tolman, who's a former U.S. attorney, he told me about a plaque that hangs in the Department of Justice, and it reads, "The hallmark of fairness in the administration of justice is consistency. The only thing consistent about Democrat justice is how they consistently punish their enemies. That's not justice. Look at what they've done to Steve Bannon. I mean, the man should be at home." Proverbs 24:16 says, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. But the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." It's about time we start seeing people stumble. We need to rise above the persecution. We need to hold rogue prosecutors accountable. There should be no immunity. We need to
Like qualified immunity?
the Democrats' corruption, and better yet, the Biden family's corruption.
Now, that I will agree with. Biden is very corrupt. His
And
whole
guess
family's
what?
corrupt.
I know just the man for that job. Donald J. Trump has only one conviction that matters, and that is his conviction to make America great again. Thank you, and God bless America.
Oh, God. That was horrible.
Ladies and gentlemen, the mayor of Dallas, Texas, Eric Johnson.
Oh, Lord. Why did as soon as I heard the last name Johnson, I'm like, oh, that's a black dude.
Four years ago, progressive activists stood on my front lawn with the stated goal of intimidating my family. They wanted me to defund the police. I said no. Folks, I grew up in high crime neighborhoods. What we wanted was more and better policing, not less. As mayor, I knew we needed to increase support for our police department and prioritize violent crime reduction. I'd been a Democrat my entire life, albeit a conservative one. But when those activists tried to scare my kids, my fellow Democrats were silent. It was Republicans who offered their support both privately and publicly. Party affiliation didn't matter. They cared about doing what was right. Today, I'm the proud Republican mayor of Dallas, Texas. The largest city in the United States led by a Republican. I wanted to say I didn't leave the Democrat Party because they left me first. But the truth is, on matters of public safety, the Democrats were never actually there for me, for Dallas families, or for the American people. With their words and their actions, and sometimes with their silence and their inaction, Democrats in power demonstrate they don't care about stopping the killers or the thieves who terrorize Black and brown communities. They don't care about securing our border. And they don't care about dangerous homeless encampments. No.
Why not
the
just give their
heart of
homelessness
today's
by giving people
woke
homes?
Democrat Party is with the criminals, not with their victims. Democrats are good at using safe words, but terrible at building safe neighborhoods and safe cities. But
Y'all
there
both are.
is a better way. Dallas bucked national trends and achieved a remarkable 3 straight years of violent crime reduction.
They also got legal weed.
Today, Dallas is viewed as America's safest large city, and Republicans lead 11 of the top 15 safest cities. And that's because Republicans won't be silent about public safety. Folks, let's make our city safe again by supporting Republicans who will stand up and fight for our safety. That's my focus as chairman of the Republican Mayors Association. And you know what else? Together, let's make America safe again.
Oh, shut up. Anyway, good to see you. KD Lewis is in the house. My brother from another brother. Good to have you joining. Yeah, so I just wanted to get your thoughts about do you feel about how would you counter what he said about public safety in your view?
First off, can you hear me all right? Because I got a very bad connection over here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I kind of missed like a chunk of his speech, but I figured a black mayor came in. He's a huge fan of the cops, public safety, I guess, and I don't know. I just think back of how the statistic of this past year, the most violent police shootings, like number happened in 2023, and it has been increasing since Biden has come in. And that doesn't make me feel very safe as someone that will be 3 times more likely to be killed compared to my white counterparts with public safety. And I think, yeah, it's a lot. It's, you know, the typical fear mongering about certain people when Republicans specifically talk about public safety. It's public safety for middle class white people and up.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what they're focused mostly on. That I can see is that the public safety of people of a certain tax bracket. They're not focused on public safety of all. And the crazy part is they always want to go after they want to go after the symptoms of a problem. They never want to go after the underlying cause. I noticed this about Democrats and Republicans. They never want to go after the underlying cause of the problem. They only want to treat the symptoms. So when Republicans talk about crime, they want to increase police. When Democrats talk about crime, they also want to increase police, but nicely, right? And so they're really, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, it's like nicely putting a rainbow and a colored face to it, you know.
Yeah. Like for instance, like what good is a police officer if they're gay and they're still bashing people's heads in for trying to exercise their First Amendment rights? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is the same thing. And so that's what the Democrats do. Republicans will just put a the same type of person who bashes your head in, except for they'll just be straight and white and male. And that's the only difference. So I really don't see much of a difference between them. So when it comes to that, that's one of the reasons why I always talk about leaving the duopoly. One of the reasons why I'm covering this, and right now they're just showing video footage of JD Vance that just came into the arena. And so they're basically just, showing that kind of a bit of a break. But one of the reasons, he'll be back. One of the reasons why I wanted to show this is because I want to show that both parties really just do not care. This is really just, how is the best way I can put this? This is more of it's like an autofellatio type of event for them to sniff their own farts and go, we're the greatest people in the world because we are on one side of the duopoly, right? And the Democrats are going to be doing the same thing in August. There's really no difference between them. And I'm here to debunk that to people because a lot of people are new to the channel. A lot of people, they may hear me bash the Democrats. They may hear me bash Joe Biden. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm bashing both parties because both parties are in particular beholden to the corporations. They're beholden to the same boss that they have been beholden to before. And so when people talk about, one's better than another, this is why I show these type of streams and I do these type of reactions, because I want people to realize that there really is, you have no true friend in Washington. Even if that person says they're independent, they're not a true friend. Because look, Bernie Sanders, he's no true friend in Washington because he still is beholden to the military industrial complex. He's still beholden to the Israeli lobby. Even though he may not take specific money from the Israeli lobby, he still makes excuses for Zionism. And so he's no different just because of his party affiliation being in, the letter I. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, because I want to make sure that people know that I am showing how both parties are complicit in our lives being worse. And this is why we need to do one of two things. We need to get away from their duopoly and also start organizing to build dual power outside of the system. And so that's one of the things that I've been trying to convey to people as much as I possibly can. So right now, oh gosh, he's talking to Rick Scott. Ugh. Whew, right. Rick Scott is.
Yeah, like the only way. Oh boy. Can you hear me all right?
You're coming in delayed a little bit. But I can hear you.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. My bad, man. Don't mean to mess up the flow of the stream.
It's okay. But if you have something that you would like to add, just feel free to cut me off and we'll continue. But as of right now, just your thoughts about. Hang on. Oh no, they're showing a video of Trump. Your thoughts about when people hear you bashing the Democrats, but then they automatically think, oh, well, then you must be siding with the Republicans. What is your, how do you respond to that?
It's just it's decades, maybe even a century, a little over a century of just conditioning of this idea that American politics is confined to these two entities, and that's it. And it's just this accepted truth. Like it's treated as a universal truth. As true as the sky is blue, it's true. We only have two parties to pick from. So therefore, if you are someone who thinks you are informed and in the duopoly, and you see somebody bash one side of the duopoly, of course, the only thing you're going to think about is the other side of the duopoly. So it's decades and decades of straight political conditioning that's succeeded in allowing power to confine itself into two parties and allowing these two parties to present themselves as choice, almost in a religious sense. It's very funny how American Christianity kind of just in politics are very much hand in hand in people's beliefs in both of these ideas.
Yeah, when it comes to a lot of what's going on right now is, I see that a lot of people a gentleman was blaming the media for the division between Americans, and what was going on, what happened to Donald Trump on Saturday. Of course, many people know Donald Trump was grazed in the ear by a bullet. That's why you have him with a bandage right now as he's entering the auditorium for the RNC convention. And what would you say the fault is just the media, or would you extend that blame to others?
It's all sorts of institutions that propagandize people. So it's the media, it's these politicians when they go out and talk to the public, and it's Hollywood, I think, plays a huge part in conditioning people's political minds. So it's I wouldn't blame just the media solely, but all of these things work together in keeping the American electorate in the politically stunted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from what I can see is that, I say it's not just the media. I also blame both Democrat and Republican parties, not only for their rhetoric, but also keeping the country in such a state of disarray materially that it causes the people to be desperate. And so they run to either one demagogue or another. Make no mistake, Biden is just as much of a demagogue as Donald Trump is. And that's how they keep their power, is that they replace one demagogue with another. So even after Trump in 2028, there's going to be another demagogue in the Republican Party. In 2028, there's going to be another demagogue in the Democrat Party. So when you see that people are acting out of desperation, it's because both of these parties are playing on the desperation of the workers, because they use the horrible conditions that workers are going through as fuel to keep them within those parties. For instance, Republicans will use immigration of undocumented immigrants as fuel to keep people voting for them. The Democratic Party will use Roe v. Wade as fuel to keep people voting for them within their respective parties.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is like for instance, this telling Biden telling voters to surge the border. That's actually not true, because if you look at what's happened, wasn't it Kamala Harris that told people don't come?
Yep.
And now look at them. They're blaming Venezuela, even though all this could be ended with when it comes to the ending the drug war. All you have to do is end the drug war and stop the destabilization in these countries, and that would end. But no, they have to use this as a way to go against the Democratic Party to give the illusion of choice.
Mm-hmm.
So
both parties partake in fear mongering to their bases. That's their political strategy, to fear monger. Where the Republicans seem to keep getting their base to come back is because they kind of more so deliver on the stuff that they fear monger. They do get harsher on some of this social stuff and scaring people about diversity and all the cultural war stuff. They're pretty effective in getting that stuff like done, or at least giving their base more red meat that way. Whereas Democrats fearmonger solely off of the Republicans' agenda and their knack of somehow getting past the Democrats and getting bad stuff by. So yeah, both these parties use fear mongering to keep their people engaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so also just as a reminder, Joe Biden actually deported more people than Trump did. So, I mean, that's complete and utter bullshit. So they're lying on both sides to the American people just to keep you complicit in thinking that this is a actual democracy. And here goes Ted Cruz coming in right now. Let's take a listen.
God bless Donald J. Trump.
You look like an eagle.
And let me start by giving thanks to God Almighty for protecting President Trump.
I loved him in the Munster.
And for turning his head on Saturday as the shot was fired. Together we lift up in prayer all of our leaders for protection. And our prayers are in particular with the family of Fire Chief Corey Comparatore and the others injured on Saturday. Never before has an election mattered so much. We are facing an invasion on our southern border.
An invasion?
Not figuratively, a literal invasion. 11.5 million people have crossed our border illegally under Joe Biden. Look around you. This arena holds about 18,000 souls. Now imagine 639 arenas just like this, filled to the brim. That is 11.5 million people, larger than all but 8 states in the nation.
See how they're turning the workers against one another?
Don't show us the true price that our country is paying. Every day, Americans are dying. Murdered.
By police?
Assaulted, raped. By illegal immigrants that the Democrats have released. Teenage girls and boys wearing colored wristbands are being sold into a life of sex slavery. This is evil and it's wrong. And it is happening every damn day.
Let's talk about the churches.
Steinle. She was 32, walking with her father on a San Francisco pier when a bullet tore through her heart. The man who fired that gun, he'd been deported 5 times. Every damn day. Think of Laken Riley. Just 22 years old, a nursing student with dreams of healing others. She went for a jog and never came home. Her life taken by someone who should have never been here. Every damn day.
Or Rachel Marin, a beautiful mother of 5, raped and murdered in suburban Maryland by an illegal immigrant the Democrats released. Every damn day.
Stop the end the drug war then.
Or Jocelyn Nungaray,
Crazy.
only 12 years old. It was just 1 month ago today that she was brutally raped and murdered in Houston by 2 men who were supposed to be detained and monitored, but instead released and allowed to roam free. Every damn day.
Hang on.
These aren't
And
just
they're eating that shit up.
Wait.
Oh my God.
Hang on. He just confirmed that police don't stop crime. He just confirmed that police do not truly prevent crime. And yet they will fund police more and more and more. And if this still keeps happening, then that means that that funding the police more doesn't actually work. He just proved our point, man.
Yeah. And it's like I love how they present anecdotes as their efficient proof of whatever justifies their policies. Yet, they don't have empirical data that kind of shows the imperativeness of, I guess, the crime amongst illegal or undocumented immigrants. But they don't use that same type of stuff when it comes to the mass shootings or police violence. Like they have their loaded anecdotes put up, but they ignore the empirical data and the anecdotes of the stuff that they don't want to address. And it's all based around fear. Let's scare the white person about the undocumented soul that's escaping wherever they're coming from. It's boring. It's textbook. It's not creative. But these people are eating it up. It's another cult on the other side of the coin, like the Democratic Party. Same thing. They eat that shit up.
Yep.
He's done it before. I know this because I worked hand in hand with President Trump to secure our border, and we achieved the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years.
Even though he insulted your wife.
It's real simple. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. So tonight, I speak for Kate and Laken and Rachel. Tonight, I speak for Jocelyn. And let us go forward together and keep our sacred oath to defend the Constitution and to protect the American people. Let us secure our borders, enforce our laws, protect our children, and restore the future.
Except for the First Amendment, we want to crack down on top-getting protests.
Because when we do that, when we remember who we are and who we love, and we act to protect them, then and only then will we truly make America great again.
What about the 250,000 rape
Thank you.
that are in
God
police
bless
department?
Texas, and God bless the United States of America.
Nobody wants to talk about the rape that are in police departments that are
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
recovered.
law enforcement
They don't
officer
care about none of that
Randy
stuff.
Sutton.
Oh my God.
When they come after you, right?
I could have sworn these were the don't. These are the don't tread on me people. These are the don't tread on me people backing the blue. This is insane.
Yeah.
Back the police force that will be used against the working class, but don't tread on me. That's
the hypocrisy, man. Wow.
Knows no better.
I was one of the most highly decorated officers in the history of my department. And then I founded the Wounded Blue, an organization dedicated to helping injured and disabled law enforcement officers. I've dedicated my life to law enforcement. And I'm here to tell you one thing, America. Donald Trump is the best friend we will ever have. Ladies and gentlemen, we're experiencing a plague of crime across America. The endless tsunami of illegal aliens, no consequences for violent crime, the abuse of our criminal justice system. It's all made America more dangerous than ever before.
Hang on. Crime rates are actually down across the nation.
Yep.
See, this is what they do. I don't want to hear from Porky Pig right now. My thing is that when you are saying this, you're basically pushing this fear narrative saying, oh my God, if you don't vote for us, then they're going to come and sexually assault your lily white wife. That's what they're going to come and do. See these brown people coming from abroad? Oh my God, they're gonna do all this horrible stuff to you. That's basically what it is, right?
Yep.
They fear-mongered against us, right? But now, if they fear-monger more against us, then they're like, oh, we're gonna sound racist, so we got to go against the illegals. When in reality, to them, it's just anybody that's brown that looks like they're indigenous. Basically.
Yep.
So now what we see here is you have this fear mongering against people who are fleeing from a country that's been destabilized by the United States and then also they're being given jobs by the corporations so that they can undercut the rest of us so that they don't have to pay us a living wage. And the Republicans are actually backing those same corporations that are undercutting us by hiring people who are undocumented so that they can keep the wages low.
Yep.
And then you have people eating this up going, oh my God, we got to stop these illegals from coming in. When in reality, the whole reason why undocumented immigrants are coming to this country is because they're making it so that it can happen. They're facilitating it.
It's the same thing going all the way back to like slavery and the separation between the white serf they weren't serfs, the white indentured servants and the black indentured servants then became slaves, all about that division amongst these layman white proletariat that just, you know, you all you got to do is make their lives suck and then point to an even weaker member on the totem pole. You know, someone even lower than them is their fault. And therefore, you know, you're not worried about those same people coming after you as a powerful person. They go after the people even weaker than they are. And it's the same song and dance. And that's something that these people are trying to conserve, because what the Democratic Party has shown is that you can sort of keep this cycle of neoliberalism or fascism. But as long as you put, you know, a blackface up there, someone gay up there, like you can still keep this going without the white man. And so that's something that this party is just intent on holding on. It's like, hey, the white man is losing stuff. Like that's that is all they have left. Fear of losing their control of this fascist system.
Yeah, and the whole reason for the increasing of the police state, and Nick talks about this on RBN all the time, but talk about the increasing of the police state is really to tamp down on our rights like free speech. Look at what Ron DeSantis did here in Florida. I mean, they're tamping down on free speech here. And so this is one of the reasons why I think it is important for us to fight entities like all these cop cities that are popping up all over the country. And the thing is it's kind of crazy how they will talk about, oh, we need to increase police. But the thing is, they don't ever want to talk about, wanting to decrease the source of crime, which is crimes of opportunity and crimes of desperation. It's like, okay, let's tamp down on these different sources that cause the crime in the first place. Like lack of housing, lack of resources. Like as poverty continues to grow, the crime will continue to grow. It's A plus B equals C, right? But they will never, ever try to change the equation so that you can get rid of the crime through the underlying cause. And this is one of the reasons why I always talk, whenever I talk to conservatives, I'm like, look, you guys are being lied to, because look at what's going on in places like Appalachia. You have a bunch of poor white people and and their crime rates are high. Is it because there's black people there? Well, no, it's because the crime is high. Well, if you depress people's living conditions, their material needs, then of course crime rates are going to go high because desperation is there. What do you do in order to decrease the desperation? You got to give them what they need. Man, that's the thing that I hate. All right, so let's go to this lady. Jesus, I don't know who the hell this is, but.
A few years ago, I was a local prosecutor locking up bad guys. But in 2022, I ran for Attorney General and beat the incumbent Democrat who was first elected when I was just 2 years old. We won because Iowans were ready for an Attorney General who would protect them, not the criminals. An Attorney General who would stand up to Joe Biden and the radical Democrats.
Radical?
An Attorney General who would defend our constitutional freedoms. But perhaps more than anything, Iowa voters wanted an Attorney General who would back the blue. Unfortunately, Democrats like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have made life miserable for law enforcement. They treat police like criminals and criminals like victims. And
hang on, let me ask you this. Didn't Kamala Harris call herself America's top cop?
Didn't Biden just give the cops $37 billion?
You tell me. You tell me. Because the thing is like, and this is part of the lie. Please go ahead.
I don't understand how these people have rebranded themselves as being like pro working class while being so heavily pro cop. Like you can't be pro cop and pro working class because cops are used as tools against the working class. So it's just hilarious to see a whole bunch of cops at this thing and they're supposed to be champions of the white working class.
Yet you had Todd Chrisley's daughter that just came in, who he committed fraud and he got prison time. And she's like, oh, you guys just don't understand what it's like to have parents in prison and you have to take care of your siblings. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yet when something happens to our families, then guess what? You go, well, you guys shouldn't have broke the law. Well, guess what? Your daddy shouldn't have broke the law. Now, how does it feel?
Yep.
It doesn't feel good, does it? And it's just, it's crazy. And then the Democrats will play the same thing. They'll go the same route. You know?
Yep.
It's like, do you want the police to do their job, or don't you want the police to do their job? Because you guys were talking about, the police being used to prosecute people, and yet now you're talking about, we need the rule of law. Well, I guess they went according to the rule of law, and that's why your daddy got prison time, and yet now you're mad about it. You're now the rule of law is bad. See, this is how
might have to give her a quote from that's it. You might have to give her a quote from Joe Biden from 1991, 94, where he said it doesn't matter where they came from, it doesn't matter what hardship is going through, it doesn't matter all this stuff. You break the law, you got to go to jail. That was Biden, and so I'll give this response to that young lady, to her parents. It doesn't matter. They went to jail. They broke the law.
Yeah. Because there's rules for thee, but not for me, right? Oh, man. All right. So. Oh, my God. Marita. Here she comes to kiss the ring. She came to kiss the ring, y'all. Watch.
My fellow Republicans, President Trump asked me to speak to this convention in the name of unity.
After all she said.
It was a gracious invitation, and I was happy to accept. I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period. Our country is at a critical moment. We have a choice to make. For more than a year, I said a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for President Kamala Harris. After seeing the debate, everyone knows it's true. If we have 4 more years of Biden or a single day of Harris, our country will be badly worse off. For the sake of our nation, we have to go with Donald Trump.
After all the BS you said.
But there's more to it than that. We should acknowledge that there are some Americans who don't agree with Donald Trump 100% of the time. I happen to know some of them. And I want to speak to them tonight. My message to them is simple. You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for it. Take it from me. I haven't always agreed with President Trump. But we agree more often than we disagree. We agree on keeping America strong. We agree on keeping America safe. And we agree that Democrats have moved so far to the left that they're putting our freedoms in danger. I'm here tonight because we have a country to save. And a unified Republican Party is essential for saving her.
Oh, she's kissing the ring. She knows what side her bread is buttered.
Oh, yeah.
For those who have some doubts about President Trump, I want to tell you a few things about the commander-in-chief I know and worked with. As ambassador to the United Nations, I had a front row seat to his national security policies. We sure could use those again. Think about it.
What's different?
When Barack Obama was president, Vladimir Putin invaded Crimea. With Joe Biden as president, Putin invaded all of Ukraine. But when Donald Trump was president, Putin did nothing. No invasions.
He did, however, give money to Zelensky.
It was no accident. Putin didn't attack Ukraine because he knew Donald Trump was tough. A strong
stupid.
president doesn't start wars. A strong president prevents wars.
Putin doesn't give a shit about Trump. Good God. Oh, look at that coon. Anyway.
It's so childish.
Okay.
Then look at the Middle East. Every problem in that part of the world can be laid at the feet of Iran. The dictators who chant death to America are the bankrollers and weapons suppliers for Hamas and Hezbollah. They're behind the barbaric massacres and the hostage taking. Once again, compare Trump and Biden. Trump got us out of the insane Iran nuclear deal. He imposed the toughest sanctions ever on Iran. And he eliminated the arch terrorist Qasem Soleimani.
Qasem Soleimani was actually fighting ISIS. He was literally fighting ISIS and trying to get rid of him.
She just named a whole bunch of things that would have led us to World War III with Iran if Iran wasn't, if they weren't right in the head. Like, all that was putting America in danger, what she just listed as good things.
Iran was a steady hand in, facing a megalomaniac like Joe Biden. I'm sorry, Donald Trump. Freudian slip, because they're both the same.
Between Israel and Hamas, Donald Trump is clear about who is our friend and who is our enemy.
Oh, here it is.
Then look at the border. It's the single biggest it's the single biggest threat Americans face.
Okay, so she's going to continue to talk about basically people who are the same color as her. But my thing is like, look, as far as Nikki Haley, she's doing the work of the Israel lobby right now. And really, it is about what, how can we kiss the ring of the Israel? Oh, he'll be back. Well, it's about how we kiss the ring of the Israel lobby more, just so that we can keep that Israel lobby money coming in, particularly IPAC money. And so that's what it looks like that keeps happening with people like Nikki Haley, Donald Trump. Look at who Donald Trump chose as his VP. He chose J.D. Vance, who received hundreds of thousands of dollars of pro-Israel money. And so you have, basically the Trump administration is really deeply in bed with a foreign government. And people are talking about, oh, make America great again. It's not make America great again. It's make Israel great again, because that's who they're beholden to. It's the same thing with what's going on with the Democratic Party. They're constantly are, trying to display strength and loyalty to Israel, because that's how the Democratic Party operates. And so when they're talking about, oh my God, Hezbollah, oh my God, Hamas, because that's all they have to play. And the funny part is, they'll talk about, well, we got to defend our liberties to the death. We got to defend our land to the death. And my question is, what the hell do you think the Palestinian liberation is doing? And yet they don't see any similarities with that.
Well, that's because I mean, why would they? They identify with the white colonial settlers over there. Like they wouldn't identify with the brown indigenous people fighting to defend their land. I don't expect. I wouldn't even expect them to extend that type of connection between their desire to protect their nation, fight for it, and indigenous folks with the same exact ideal, with even more pressing things to fight against. It's I don't expect that type of correlation, them to make that correlation. But what I like to say about the convention so far is it's reminding me of like the 2016 Democratic National Convention, where you have these people coming together in a unified front against the evil existential threat that is the Communist Democratic Party. And you have the establishment's desires mixed with this this faux populist anti-establishment half coming together that will still do the bidding of the state at the end of the day. But it just reminds me of that same type of dynamic in 2016 amongst the Democratic Party of unifying around the same state agenda against an existential threat.
Yeah. I say the only existential threat that we really need to be afraid of, that we need to be vigilant against, is the corporate masters. And the corporate masters own the Democratic and Republican parties. That they are the existential threats. And they have been in powers really since the inception of this nation. So they've always been here. Let's go to your homeboy. Oh, gosh.
Life was more affordable when Donald Trump was president. Our border was safer under the Trump administration, and our country was respected when Donald Trump was our commander-in-chief. Joe Biden has failed this nation. As a veteran, I was appalled when 13 of our service members were killed in Afghanistan due to Joe Biden's dereliction of duty. As a citizen, as a husband, and as a father, I am alarmed that the current president of the United States lacks the capability to discharge the duties of his office. Our enemies do not confine their designs to between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. We need a commander-in-chief who can lead 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. America cannot afford 4 more years of a weekend at Bernie's presidency.
We thought you ate with
But
that one.
let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Biden is just a figurehead. He's a tool for imposing a leftist agenda on the American people. They support open borders, allowing millions and millions of illegal aliens to pour into our country and to burden our communities, but just don't send any to Martha's Vineyard, then they get really upset.
Those are liberals, not leftists. Oh, God. You should have bought some popcorn.
They have unleashed progressive prosecutors across our nation who care more about coddling criminals than about protecting their own communities. They use the unelected bureaucracy to impose their will on us without our consent, and they weaponize political power to target their political opponents like they've done to our own nominee. They want to ban gas automobiles, eliminate Second Amendment rights, and impose gender ideology on everyone from our infantrymen to kindergartners.
Yeah, that's good.
They stand for DEI, which really means division, exclusion, and indoctrination, and it is wrong.
Oh.
They mandated that you show proof of a COVID vaccine to go to a restaurant, but they oppose requiring proof of citizenship to cast a vote.
It's a non-issue.
They can't even define what a woman is. Now, Donald Trump stands in their way, and he stands up for America. Donald Trump has been demonized. He's been sued. He's been prosecuted, and he nearly lost his life. We cannot let him down, and we cannot let America down.
Yeah, you didn't make it to VP spot, but you tried to get into the family real hard.
It is the values of this Republican Party that reflect our nation's founding principles. We believe schools should educate, not indoctrinate.
Oh, wait a minute. But you want to make sure everybody has prayer in schools, but you don't want to talk about indoctrination.
We stand for parents' rights, including universal school choice. We support law and order, not rioting and disorder. We seek a strong, focused United States military, not one distracted by a social agenda. We reject entrenched political class, and we demand term limits for members of Congress.
We don't.
We stand for fiscal sanity, for low taxes, and for reduced debt. We seek to reclaim the constitutional government as envisioned by our founding fathers by bringing the administrative state to heel once and for all. We believe that you must be a citizen in order to vote, and that photo ID should be required before casting a ballot. We stand for strong borders and believe that our nation must have a shared civic culture, and we oppose any immigration that stands apart or in contrast to our American values. We believe in the principles articulated in the Declaration of Independence that our rights come not from the generosity of the state, but from the hand of the Almighty, including the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, none of this is easy, but it can be done. For decades, my home state saw elections determined by razor-thin margins. Today, due to bold leadership, the Democratic Party lies in ruins. The left is in retreat. Freedom reigns supreme. The woke mind virus is dead, and Florida is a solid Republican state. Now, electing Donald Trump gives us the chance to do this all across America. And we have a responsibility to step up and make it happen. We have a responsibility to preserve what George Washington called the sacred fire of liberty. This was a fire that burned in Independence Hall in 1776 when 56 men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to establish this nation. It's a fire that burned at a cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, when our nation's first Republican president pledged this nation to a new birth of freedom. It's a fire that burned at the foot of the Berlin Wall in 1987, when our nation's 40th president stood in front of that wall and said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." This is not a responsibility we should fear. It's a responsibility we should welcome. After all, if not us, who? And if not now, when? Let's make the 45th president of the United States the 47th president of the United States. Let's elect Republicans up and down the ballot, and let's heed the call of our party's nominee to fight, fight, fight for these United States. Thank you. God bless you. Let's win in November. Thank you so much.
Okay, so go ahead.
I mean, it's the thing about DeSantis and how he's been able to sort of get people, a lot of the working people just on his side. It's just all dependent on the ineffectiveness of liberal-esque policies. Like, liberal policies have failed the working class people. So you got a guy like this guy come around and point at what am I looking at?
I don't know. I don't know.
Gonna take your freedom, indicting our president because they can't beat it. It's a two-tier justice system. Put America first, be the big. FJB, 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 FJB.
Oh my God. See, this is why we need to gatekeep our culture, because it's shit like this. This is why we need to gatekeep.
I don't like it.
Look at, do you see this? What in the hell?
It's the same thing Democrats do. They literally using hip hop to appeal to some edgy population, maybe some black people in there, but this is ridiculous.
This is, bruh. I gotta go. I gotta go. This is some bull. This is crazy. But yet, this is the type of culture that's turning our kids into thugs.
Right?
And yet they're embracing it. Y'all,
that's actually insane. They were complaining about this culture literally in all these speeches. This is what they're complaining about. That's what they're complaining about.
Oh, now it's okay.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Dear God, who is this pencil neck?
Nah, he's another cop.
Probably looks like it.
I'm Eric Schmidt from the great state of Missouri.
And that's all we're gonna hear from Schmidt.
Yeah.
But my thing is, like, what was that? That was.
I think, and you know what's interesting? It was right after the Florida governor spoke, because I feel like I was targeted at a very certain demographic in a very certain state. Like, it's just like, again, because liberal policies have been failing these people, and all liberals have to show for it is these colorful faces in high places and these departments that just act they're basically sensitivity training, but it's a whole department. Like, that is like, you're not getting regular voting people of any race along when you're not doing that. So you have someone come around, shut down that bureaucratic stuff, shut down what looks to be like the pillars of importance to liberals, and you got a whole class of people just supporting that stuff. And then they fall for the same economic plan that Republicans do, but because Republicans at least meet them on the red meat with this culture stuff, they stayed. And I think that's how Florida got stuck being this red state like this. And now you have a lot of black people who have, been disillusioned themselves from the Democratic Party, but still see the duopoly as a way of participating. And so that type of stuff there, where you have people against this liberal stuff, but still able to, I guess, reach out some sort of hand to culturally meet you there, then that's their way of getting to these disaffected black voters that still believe in duopoly. It's a very failed and lazy attempt, but that's what it is.
Yeah, and they're trying to increase their black vote, because ultimately it really isn't about giving black people an alternative. Is to keep the black people within the duopoly, because they know we're disillusioned with the Democratic Party. It's like, well, here's an alternative, and it's like, like I said, that's like going to one of those, KFC, Pizza Hut combos, restaurants, and they go, well, you're not liking KFC anymore, just move over to the other side of the counter and get some Pizza Hut. And it's like, okay. And yet that same restaurant where both of those people work, those with, the person behind the counter, their workmates, you don't think that they're not working for the same goal, they're working for the same boss. And so they're basically it's just like all them dudes right now, all them black dudes, especially, that are talking about, oh, I'm gonna support Trump because I did better under Trump. Yeah, technically you did better under Trump, but then you also did better under Obama, because inflation, is a hell of a drug, and it got worse since the Obama years. Mm-hmm. Financially, you also did better under Bill Clinton. You know what I'm saying? Because the dollar actually went further under Bill Clinton than it does now. So it's not really necessarily better. It's just the dollar got weaker since then. So when people talk about, oh my God, my life was better. Yeah, our life was better under Clinton too. And then the dollar was better under people like Reagan. So yeah, because you go back in time when the dollar was actually stronger. And so when people talk about, oh, we just need to get back to that, it's like, get back to what? Because I guarantee you, if Donald Trump wins this November, the next 4 years are not going to be as good as his previous 4 years.
The previous ones.
People just
but they'll point at something else to get mad at, or they'll forget about it until the next election comes around, and then it's the same thing. These people, the state has done a fantastic job at conditioning the American public into being as ill-informed as they are, and they think that they are informed. That's the crazy thing that they've been able to accomplish, is trick ill-informed people into thinking they're informed.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go to this speech by Tom Cotton.
When asked why, Manuel gestured to the parking lot and responded, "Have you seen my new pickup? And did you know that my brother and sister both have full-time jobs? With Trump, we've had more work than ever. Things are good." Manuel became a citizen last year, and he's excited to vote for the first time for Donald Trump. By contrast, after Joe Biden and the border czar, Kamala Harris, reversed President Trump's immigration policies and welcomed a third world invasion.
That's actually bullshit because Joe Biden actually continued Title 42 and also continued the construction of Trump's border wall. So Tom Cotton is actually lying to you right now.
Migrants huddled under a bridge. I asked them why they came. None said persecution. Most said for a job. A few admitted because they could get in. Another answered with one simple word: Biden.
Oh, this is some bullshit.
No, I don't believe any of that. I don't believe anything he's saying right
now. No. Like
he's gonna talk to brown people.
Yeah, like does Tom Cotton even understand a lick of Spanish? You know, I don't believe
Tom Cotton. I bet not.
Yeah, probably not. You know, I mean, you know, this Cro-Magnon probably doesn't even have the capacity to speak more than one language. But my thing is one thing I noticed is that everybody keeps talking about immigration. Every single person is touching on immigration for every single speech. Like they'll touch on the economy a little bit, but they'll keep talking about social issues like crazy. And the crazy part is that's all they have is the social issues.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with
abortion.
Yeah. It's like the Democrats will only talk about social issues. The Democrats will talk about, Roe v. Wade. And we need to, they'll talk about the other side of immigration where the Republicans want to demonize people. And then they'll talk about, well, we want people to to come in, but we just want them to come in safely. And we want them to, they're like, we want them to still come in legally, but we want to give asylum to people. And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, you guys are still continuing what's going on in their country. So it's like the constant demonization of, immigrants is quite apparent in every single speech, and it's all law and order, law and order, law and order. And it's just like, well, what if the law is unjust?
Again, they don't care about that. I don't even bother asking them those types of questions, but their focus on immigration is literally their version of the Democrats' focus on Roe v. Wade and abortion. Both like what the Republicans were just presented in Congress would have been a wet dream if Donald Trump had said it was in charge. But because of political ways of keeping their base, dragging them along, they don't vote in favor of immigration policy that they touted before that those bills were dropped. And it's the same thing with the Democrats and abortion. They had at least 3 administrations since Roe v. Wade was decided to codify into law without needing any sort of Republican input. But they didn't do it because that was their political chip to string along the Democratic base. Immigration is the Republicans' political chip to string along the Republican base.
Yeah. And they'll constantly use that as a tool to fear mongers so that conservatives will constantly keep voting for the Republican Party. That's their tool. That's their fundraising tool. It's making you scared of brown people. It's crazy. Oh gosh, who is this? Who the?
Good evening, Milwaukee. My name is Michael Coyle. I'm from Philadelphia, in an area of Kensington, one of the worst neighborhoods in America. Kensington has long struggled, but in the last few years, things have gotten much worse.
So there's another thing about immigration. This is wild, man. That seems to be the number one topic for this convention is talking about immigration. So, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, they said he's an illegal immigration activist. I've never in my life heard that before.
Yeah, that he's just basically been saying the same thing that every single other one has been saying. It's like they repeat the same thing. It's like they're smelling their own farts in that way. So, and the funny part is, it's not like we don't know the answer to slow undocumented immigrants. We know the answer to it. Because like I've said before, if you are feeling safe in your country, and if your country is stable, you're less likely to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And the best way to do it is, number one, stop the drug war. So then you choke the cartels of their business. Okay. Number two, you stop the destabilization and try to take over these countries. So if you do that, then the countries, if you stop destabilization, what happens? It stabilizes. And then three, you make sure that these countries are whole again from the imperialism that the United States has tried to do in regards to Guatemala, Chile, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and so on and so forth. Like, look at how many coups our countries try to do in these countries in Central and South America. If you are able to do that, you will literally start to slow the amount of undocumented immigrants that are seeking asylum or seeking refuge here. And if you start to slow that, then you'll start to see the undocumented immigrants coming down to a crawl. And then if those countries somehow want to go into a route of socialism, you leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them autonomously dictate how their country operates and leave them alone. Stop destabilizing their countries. And guess what? They're not going to want to come to the shithole we call America. See, problem solved. And then if they do come, they can wait the 5 to 7 years in order to come in through the legal means instead of having to be desperate and come here while risking their lives. That's basically how you can do it.
I guess the main question I will come to that is, to what degree should the U.S. play in assisting the restabilization of these other countries, if we should assist at all? Because if we're giving money or we're putting bodies there to fend off whatever, it's sort of is that not the same thing as what we were doing beforehand, except now all of a sudden we're altruistic with it? I think that like, I agree that we do. Fixing our foreign policy is the key to our fixing the immigration policy. It's just sort of, how do we go about doing that? If I think it should be a hands-free of restoration for the other countries. Like, just it's something that I'm working out of how to imagine that become like reality. But yeah, I think the main thing that needs to be focused on is changing our foreign policy that impacts these countries, that make them the way they are, that sends people our way. Yeah.
Foreign policy, people need to pay more attention to foreign policy, because foreign policy and domestic policy are intertwined. And our foreign policy is one of the reasons why we do have undocumented immigrants, pouring into the country. Because of our destabilization. Now, to respond to what you said, we either need to do one of two things: either stop with the destabilization as well as stop with the sanctions altogether and just walk away and leave them alone, or write them a check, give it to them, and then walk away with no strings attached. One of the two. I think that we should do the second one, which is we write them a check, send it to them, say sorry, and walk away on our happy little way. That's it. No strings attached. Leave them the fuck alone. That's it. Right? And then let them build themselves up. And if they want to go into a socialist route, let them go into a socialist route. And if you think, oh my God, they're going into socialism. Okay, if socialism is so bad, let it fall on its own. If Cuba is so horrible with socialism, if socialism is so horrible, all right, then let Cuba do what it does, release the sanctions, and let socialism collapse on its own. Go ahead, let it do it. Let Venezuela collapse on their own. Fine. Do it. Leave them alone. Let them have autonomy over their own country. And then watch. And so then guess what? The fear is from the corporate elites, the predator class, is that they actually start to do better. And yes, the undocumented immigration will slow. It will come to a near halt if these countries actually do what they really want to do, because they start to go into a more egalitarian socialist route, meaning they're not going to want to come here, which means they're not going to have any workers to exploit anymore. Mm-hmm. And then on top of it, they're not going to have somebody to demonize anymore. And so then guess who starts taking in those jobs, but we start making more demands. People that look like us. Because then we start to make more demands and we go, well, y'all ain't got no more undocumented immigrants coming anymore. And it's just us. Well, guess what? We're not going to work for those starvation wages either. Either give us the wages that are living wages, or I guess you're just going to have to suffer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The grip doesn't work if you actually fix the problem. You need the problem to continue for you to keep going. They have no incentive. The people in power have no incentive to fix the problem.
Oh, who is this? Oh gosh, there's white woman tears. Uh-oh.
Oh my
Overdose.
gosh.
It was a poisoning. His whole future, everything we ever wanted for him was ripped away in an instant. And Joe Biden does nothing. I hold Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the borders are. What a joke. And Gavin Newsom and every Democrat who supports open borders responsible for the death of my son.
Oh my God.
Want to hear an interesting little factoid? That actually immigrants and largely undocumented immigrants actually commit less crime than citizens. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, it's easy to demonize brown people. It's very easy here.
Yeah, because there's this thing in their head that, oh, they're coming here to commit crime, when in reality they're less likely to commit crime because they don't want to get deported.
Exactly. Like if you're in here and you got people coming that can take you away like easily, like I would do my best to stay out of sight.
Yeah.
And not bring attention to myself.
Let me tell you guys something.
Yeah.
This is propaganda to get white people scared. This is what it is. Notice they got a bleach blonde white woman.
Bleach blonde. That's not her natural hair color for sure.
No, look at those roots. You know she ain't no natural blonde. Either that or that's a lace front. Either way, they're doing it to garner sympathy for, oh my God, my child was killed because of a brown person. They did this against our people too, man. They did this against us. And so when it comes to and oh, this is another thing. Terry Hinton, perfect timing. No black agenda, no tangibles, no vote from this black person. Let me also say this. You will not hear a reparations policy at this convention whatsoever. None. Nathan, nada. Because they don't give a crap about us. There's no tangibles that will be given through the Democratic or Republican Party. When it comes to actually making sure that American freedmen, those of us who are American descendants of slavery, to make sure that we actually get what is owed to us by General Sherman and Special Field Order number 15, who is a general under Abraham Lincoln, a Republican president, and you guys are not going to give us our reparations? You're not going to give us what we were owed? Y'all don't actually care about us either. See, the thing is that y'all are just like the Democratic Party. You guys are constantly trying to say, oh, we're different. No, you're not. We see it. We see it in the tangibles that you do not want to give us, because then you'll look at us and go, well, just pick yourself up by your bootstraps. We did. We tried. It was called Tulsa, Oklahoma. And your boys decided to burn our cities to the ground. So now what? Oh, you guys don't want to give us reparations for what happened in Tulsa. So both parties, like I said before, they do not care about none of us. This is all just means of corporate control to keep you divided as workers. That's all it really is.
Yeah, it's one of the more frustrating things to see about Black people in either side of the duopoly, Democrat or Republican, because all these people offer us is different types of platitudes. On the Democrat side, you have the people who will look at us as helpless victims, who will acknowledge, hey, you're a person too. And I, the good white man, acknowledges that you are a human being, not 3/5. And that's all that they have to offer, where the Republican side just sort of throws this, hey, we're not about this nanny state stuff. You're not children. We treat you as equals in this messed up system. So that's why we're not going to give you a leg up, because we actually look at you as something. And that's all these two parties are offering Black people. And these Black people in these spaces have confined their wins to straight up platitudes. And it's very devastating to see where Black people have come politically since before the civil rights until now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how you'll have Black dudes that are like, well, Donald Trump gave me a stimulus check, so I'm going to vote for him because that's what I got. And I'm like, bro, you're getting with him over a $1,400 stimulus check, and yet you could be reaching for something bigger like reparations. Like, bruh.
Well, that man has been propaganda to think that he doesn't need a handout. Handouts aren't good because Democrats have tainted the name of welfare, and Republicans have, helped tag on that stuff. So now you got these people who are just anti-entitlement, which are anti things that American people should get with their tax dollars.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so I also want to share this as well, because there was a leaked audio that recently came out. I want to share this too. That Donald Trump is trying to also get it sounds like Donald Trump is trying to get RFK Jr. in his administration too. So let's go to this. So this is from Whitney Webb. She said, the efforts to rebrand Poppy Warp Speed as a vaccine skeptic rise to a new level. His VP pick invests in gene therapy and biotech companies. You guys are being played so hard. This is from Die Suddenly. It says, in a leaked video, Donald Trump calls RFK Jr. and commends him for his work on childhood jabs. Let's just try to see if we can listen just a little bit. But RFK Jr. is literally have Donald Trump on speaker.
I want to do small doses. Small doses. When you feed a baby, Bobby, a vaccination that has like 38 different vaccines, and it looks like it's meant for a horse, not a 10-pound or 20-pound baby. It looks like you should be giving a horse this, and you ever see the size of it, right? It's just massive. And then you see the baby all of a sudden starting to change radically. I've seen it too many times. And then you hear that it doesn't have an impact, right? I talked about that a long time ago. And anyway, I would love you to do so. And I think it would be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're going to win. It's wrong.
So, according to this, it says Trump states after vaccinations, babies change right before your eyes. I've seen it so many times. That's what he quoted and saying. Says it sounds like he was offering RFK a job within the administration, stating we're going to win. A Trump RFK ticket would have been unstoppable, but the two unifying and still working together will be a huge win for America. So that's what they say. This is quite interesting because RFK is basically a Democrat and saying that he wants to basically, he still really wants to run as a Democrat, but the Democratic Party has blocked him out, so to speak. So it's funny because it's like people who are praising RFK Jr. and Donald Trump is like trying to give him a job. It's weird. Wow. So,
I mean, I guess there might be some appeal between RFK and Trump fans. I don't really know what that is, but I don't know. RFK does seem more like, just your standard Democrat though. Except maybe he's more pro free speech, slightly more pro free speech than your average Democrat. But even so, he still feels the same way about protest, which is a form of free speech. So, I don't know. There's too many political sycophants in this country. Like, who would think Trump and Kennedy would save America other than a sycophant of one of these people?
Yep. Here is Coontastic.
Alvin Bragg and reduces dangerous criminals. He wants to clear the jails and return violent felons onto our streets every day. The injustice was devastating for me and my family. I don't want anyone else to experience the senseless pain that many other victims across this United States of America have to live with every day. So I decided to use the voice that God gave me to be the voice for the voiceless across America.
You're pushing out a lot of Black people.
We need justice for victims, and we need accountability for prosecutors who failed in their duty. Soft on crime prosecutors like Alvin Bragg in New York, Kim Angeles have turned our great country and cities into war zones. Poor and neglected communities like mine are suffering. And who else in here is sick and tired of being sick and tired?
Here we go. Using black faces in order to keep people within a duopoly. You look so tired.
I'm like, I've heard that exact saying in a Baptist church, Black Baptist church. Like this is that cadence, that familiar cadence of tricking people into thinking you're saying something.
Yeah,
someone made me laugh in the comments. They said the anti-crime activist is backing a whole felon. It's like, they don't see the irony of that because I don't expect much from these people. And of the people who like support them, like I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of people in that room. Maybe some people outside of that room, there's those people are gettable, but anybody in that room, that's just, and the same thing with if the DNC was live and in person, like the same people in those rooms, that you can't, I don't even know what to do with those people.
Yeah. And this is why it is important for us to go live so that we can continue to debunk a lot of the BS coming from bring out these tokens. Both the Democrat and Republican parties bring out these tokens in order to push an agenda. So yeah.
Like you can't even hear what she's saying. You already know she's saying some BS.
Oh, of course, yeah, and it's like that's why I'm not even putting up the volume, because ultimately she's saying a lot of what just they want to hear.
Like if her son or whatever family member she had was murdered by the police, all those people she's talking to would say that he deserved it.
Yeah,
I don't. How do you debase yourself like that?
Because she's fooled by both parties, because both parties are really just a tool of the parasite class to keep you within a certain framework. She's fooled. They believe the stripper. That's basically what it is.
I can save her. She actually likes me.
Yeah. They like me. They said just all I got to do is, give them $50 and they love me, So, yeah. With that being said, I covered some of, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is on stage now. I'm not going to cause my screen to crack hearing the bile that she's going to be spewing when she talks about, and most likely it's going to be about immigration, because I know I can smell it. You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much all they've been talking about this evening. So I'm just not even going to bother. I'm not going to subject you guys to it. Yes, yep. I'm not down for cruel and unusual punishment.
All I'm talking about is cops and immigration. That's all they got.
Yeah.
Dry biscuits. That's crazy. With no beverage.
But yeah, man. So, what you got coming up soon?
In the beginning of August, I will be doing another one of my first weekend giving events, where I cook a bunch of hot meals for the homeless in my county, and I'll go to different hot spots where there's a lot of folks that end up sleeping outside. And I just, myself and a few other people that want to come along, we just hand out these meals to folks. We'll be doing that on August 3rd, on that Saturday. So I will be getting the materials together. I'll have a flyer posted in regards to the Chronicles for Black Political Power. I've said on my social media before, it's, when you do this for as much as I've done with writing and sort of on your own, you kind of get a little burnt out, and you just, the writing juices don't really click as much. So I am still trying to work and get my thoughts out there and some analysis, do my part in the independent journals sphere. But that's really it of what I got going on event wise and my Substack. So,
Yeah, of course. And so here is Katie's Substack here. I'm putting the link to his Substack in the chat right now. You guys can go to Chronicles for Black Political Power. His latest one was Justice Denied, the Ongoing Fight for Reparations. That was a wonderful article. And then you talk about many different things. Why the United States is the greatest country in the world. That was great. The political portrayal of the Black academic and professional elite. That was also a really good one. So many great articles that you have written. So I honestly really appreciate a lot of what you write, especially from the Black perspective. This is definitely needed. And I hope to see more people sharing your articles more widely, because you definitely have a gift and a talent.
Hey man, I appreciate that. And, and I always thank you for being the inspiration for me to put my foot in this, in this sphere. So, it's always love from me to you, my brother.
Yeah, definitely, bro. And I will catch you. Actually, you and I will be meeting on the 4th next month for our next action, or Orlando RBN Orlando chapter. We're going to be doing our next action that Sunday after your event that you're having personally. Just to let people know, are you going to be the event, what you're doing in your city? Are you also going to be doing anything with other people while you're out there, or is it just going to be a solo operation?
I work a lot by myself, so I'm used to doing a lot of stuff by myself. That same Saturday, there's going to be a lot of other stuff that my fraternity will be doing as well that I'll be participating in. So if I could grab a couple of hands from there, I will. If it ends up being a solo mission, it's a solo mission. Like, it doesn't stop the work. Okay. But it's open to anybody that sees a flyer and reaches out to my DMs that's in the area. They're more than welcome to come. But
All right. So what I'll do is I'll also share your Twitter as well, so that people can also reach out to you via DM, so that they can get in touch with you. And you're in Cocoa, correct?
Yeah, Cocoa, Florida.
Okay, so in Cocoa, Florida. So if you guys have not, if you guys are in the area, if you guys would like to assist him with his action that he'll be doing, mutual aid action in Cocoa, then go ahead and also give Katie send him a DM, so that you guys can also assist with that as well. Remember, we save us. And so if you guys are in that part of Florida, go ahead and give them a look up. So yes. And I love that picture that you have of all these wonderful revolutionaries in the background too. So yeah.
Well, I want to make I need a little bit nicer one. That one was a solo editing.
Yeah, definitely. It'll definitely come. So thank you so much, Katie. It was good to have you. Thank you so very much for staying as long as you have and being able to endure those speeches.
It would have been tough alone, man. So I appreciate you inviting me on. I'm happy to spend this Tuesday night like this, especially with a good friend.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Bye, everyone.
All right, everybody. So I'm going to be heading on out soon, but one of the things I wanted to do as well was I wanted to share and give a big thanks and shout out to all the patrons on Patreon before I get to the chat. You guys have had a lot to say, but before I do that, let's give a shout out to the patrons so that you guys know how much I appreciate you. So, of course, we're going to go in reverse. Thank you to all the patrons. We have JB members, Solidarity, Comrade, Jaybefaunters, Super Jaybefaunters, Super Duper Jaybefaunters, and Mega Jaybefaunters. So thank you so very much to all of you for being part of the family. And just want to let you guys know, I am demonetized. So if you guys would like to, you guys can contribute either through Patreon or PayPal. My channel has been demonetized since October. And so the links to Patreon and PayPal are also in the description as well. So thank you so very much to all of you. And also, I would like to say that this Thursday, I will be live on Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be continuing the reading of Presidential by Margaret Kimberly. We'll be covering John Adams as well as Thomas Jefferson. So we're going to be covering those two presidents. So that's going to be really good reading. And we gotta cover it. And this is Presidential, Black America and the Presidents by Margaret Kimberly. So I can't wait to get into that. And so with that being said, I will not be doing any live shows on Saturday because I have I'm hanging out with some family, so I won't be able to do that Saturday. And so just look for the JB show on Sunday, as well as look for me next Tuesday as well. So thank you so very much to everybody for tuning in. Like I always say, water your plants, water yourselves, leave the world better than you found it. Smoke them if you got them, drink them if you got them. If you got them, then watch something funny, watch something hilarious, because joy is revolutionary. And I love y'all for watching. Have yourself a great night. Thank you for staying for this special presentation. And always remember, the duopoly is there to keep you divided, to keep you against your fellow worker. This is why it is so important for us to leave the duopoly and to push towards actually having a more egalitarian system, a more equal and equitable system among us all. And do not listen to either one of these parties, because they will demonize your fellow neighbor just so that they can keep their power. Don't let them have that power over you. And remember, you have more power than you realize. Mwah! Forehead kisses. Why? Because that's the kind of guy I am. Deuces, Bruces. Thank you so very much for watching my channel, and I deeply appreciate it from the top and bottom of my heart. If you wish to support the channel further, so I can keep bringing you content that is educational and informative, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Jaybefaunt. You can find that link in the pinned comment or in the description below. No matter what you give, you'll be supporting independent media and education that helps make the world better. Thank you so much, and you can watch more of my content here. Mwah. Forehead kisses, and have a beautiful day.